complicated emotions than all of you.
You can't just bottle us up!
We are suppressed emotions!
Kelsey, Mark, I just saw the movie last night. It was fantastic. I cried, which I expected, but I didn't enjoy very much because it was very emotional.
Yeah.
I feel like understanding what anxiety is and how it can affect somebody and manifest in sort of the worst ways is so important to this movie. Obviously, anxiety, the character has good intentions. She's not, trying to sabotage Riley's life, so to speak. But can you break down how the nuances of the scene when you're trying to portray anxiety in a way that's both positive and also trying to show how negative it can be?
I always had the idea from early on that I wanted new emotions to show up, and I made a list, and I was immediately drawn to anxiety because I can really relate to her. And I'm like, I think other people can too, especially at the age that Riley is. And so, and I had pitched the idea of this being a takeover movie. Kind of like, are you familiar with All About Eve, the film All About Eve? I'm like, oh, it's like that, because it kind of can feel like that. And the earlier versions of her, she was always intended to be the antagonist. At the beginning, she was really antagonistic. She was really kind of a villain, and it didn't feel right. We're like, she's not fun to watch. I don't get why she's doing what she's doing. And it wasn't until we really leaned into the research of like, why do we have anxiety? We brought on a lot of the experts who worked on the first film, like Dr. Keltner was a professor over at Berkeley, and Dr. Lisa D'Amour. We spoke to her about why do we have it? And they're like, well, it's really there to help try and protect us and keep us safe. So I'm like, oh, we should really switch this so that she's really coming from a place of love of Riley, and she's trying. It's almost like she loves Riley just as much as Joy does, but they're arguing over how to best take care of their daughter.
And I guess I really feel that with, especially with Joy, sort of suppressing these negative things and trying to just only lean into joy as opposed to anxiety, sort of like, what are the worst case scenarios, which I think we all play out in our heads.
Yeah.
So, I love the decision to add new emotions into this, into the second film. I think it's just amazing. A lot of the emotions make sense to me, but where did ennui come into this story? Because I was sitting with some people who were like, what does ennui even mean? And I was like,
you know what? That question is exactly what we kind of wanted, because we wanted new emotions to show up in this story, and especially in Riley's life, because she's getting into a more complex time. So I was like, ooh, more complex emotions should show up. And I love how Joy is kind of confused as to like, wait, who are you? What is your name? How do I even pronounce it? And we love the idea that she even speaks like 2 languages, that she's literally more sophisticated than Joy. Because we wanted her to understand, feel like they understand what Riley's going through more so than they do, the original emotions, especially Joy.
We're also both fathers of teenage daughters, and this is an emotion that we can see from time to time in our kids.
Yeah, I'd say
truthful. Right?
Every time, if you ever asked your kid how their day was and gotten a response of fine, then you already know ennui.
I was gonna say, I don't think you need a dictionary definition of ennui to understand what's going on when you see that emotion interacting. This is very much a teenager thing. It's so interesting. I think when I watch this movie, it's kind of curious to me how joy is the only sort of positive emotion in the bunch. I was wondering if there was a decision, like, should we include some other, like, I don't know, it's ecstasy or something like that? Yeah. Or is it more interesting for you to lean more towards these negative emotions or maybe these more conflicting emotions?
It's probably more conflicting because I see them as positive now. We've done a lot of research, and like I say, even anxiety, she has the potential to do harm, but really she's trying to help. And all of them are there to like love and take care of us, which is why we have the emotions that we have. Even like envy, she started off as a negative one too, but I kind of see them now, I guess because I've done the research, I see them as all positive emotions. It's just learning how to manage them properly and how to lean into the help that they're trying to give us.
Just wrapping it up, I love this film. I feel like there were scenes in this movie where I was like, this is literally my teenage years. Was there anything for you where you were creating this film where you're like, oh yeah, this is like my childhood, or this is something I directly experienced?
The character of Valentina means a lot to me because there were people that I looked up to when I was Riley's age that I wished I was like. There was one particular guy, he was amazing at soccer, played the saxophone. He was really funny, and he was just he was really kind. There was nothing wrong with him. He was amazing, and I wished I was like him. So the character Valentina is somebody that's near and dear to my heart because I had people like Valentina in my life.
Amazing. I also had people like that in my life. Thank you so much for speaking with me, and I hope people enjoy this film. And yeah, thank you.